thank you for having us. How did you experience this and what did you thought of the show up?
Well, I think it was very nice. There were more people than I expected. I was told to expect about 10-15 people. I think there were at least about 30 more, 30, 35, 40. So I'm very happy, and I'm very happy with the discussion that took place.
Yeah.
So people asked questions, and it was very nice.
Because what is your purpose? Why do you do this kind of lectures?
Oh, I have a mission to try and decolonize mathematics and to try to explain to people. So it has to be bottom up rather than top down. So this is part of the process of spreading awareness. And in Netherlands, there has been a student movement on decolonization. Right here in the University of Amsterdam, you have things like the University of Color and so on, the Critical Collective. And they have organized this, and this is part of the process of decolonization. And it is necessary to communicate, to converse with them and tell them that this is a very important aspect of decolonization.
Yeah, because what can I do with this knowledge? You've told us a lot today, but what can I, as a normal person in this normal world, can do with this knowledge?
Oh, a lot.
Yeah.
A lot. The first thing is that
Where to start?
Yes, to start with, you are throwing off the Western yoke, because the West has suppressed everybody. Told them that they are inferior, blacks are inferior, they are cannibals, they are this, that, Indians are inferior, Chinese are inferior, red Indians are inferior, everybody, Australian Aborigines are inferior. They killed everybody, and those they could not kill, they suppressed.
Isn't that a psychological aspect?
It is not such an easy psychology, because it's a matter of indoctrination. Indoctrination, sustained indoctrination through the education system. And so you need to be able to change that. And to change that, the question that is asked is, what about mathematics? What about science? You can't change that. There you have to follow the West. Other things you can change. All right, you do your own poetry. But that's not the issue. Unless you change that mathematics and science, you won't be able to change the education system. So that is why it is extremely important for your freedom. Because the mind, colonized mind, is a captured mind. As Fanon also said, this is in his black skin, white masks. So it is a captured mind. You have to liberate the mind. The function of education is to liberate and not to colonize, not to enslave, which is what the present education system does. That's a very big thing. I think freedom is a very big thing.
Yeah, because you also mentioned that Euclid was a black woman,
black
African woman.
Yes, yes.
How is this proved?
The first thing is that there are all the texts that we have. They don't tell anything about Euclid as the author. This is just a figment of the imagination. Euclid may mean key to geometry.
Yeah, they don't acknowledge her.
Euclides. So this means geometry, Euclid means key. Or as my friend Martin Bernal, late friend Martin Bernal would say, he thought it was Euclides. Akli is Akli Kalam, as in Akli Kalam, that it is rational geometry. So it could be that. But books we have say that Theon was the author, and Theon was the last librarian of Alexandria. And the other part is that you look at the commentators, they don't give the name of the author. They speak anonymously of the author of the Elements. So why they take names of all other people? So this was something very strange. So this suggests that the book was written after Theon and by somebody whose name cannot be taken because something terrible happened to that person and was a woman. So this is Hypatia, who was raped in a church and killed, and she was very beautiful and she was very wise, and even the Christian historians were shocked by what happened to her. So that is why name is not mentioned, and it's not proof, it is balance of probabilities. So I do not know what was exactly the color of her skin. But Euclid is always depicted as a white man. How do they know what was the color of his skin if he was from Africa?
Right?
So if he was from Africa, the default is black. And that is why the balance of probabilities is that she was black. If she was from Alexandria, right?
Yes, I see.
Yeah.
Last question, because we're getting kicked out in 5 minutes.
Okay.
You also mentioned that they've translated the transcripts. What do you think what effect had that on the transcript itself?
Oh yes, you mean the Jesuits in Cochin?
Yes.
When they translated a whole lot of literature, they translated. Because they studied Indians and they also wanted to take the knowledge like they took knowledge from the Arabs. and declared it their own. So Euclid first came from Arabs, the elements, so to say, right? It came from Arabs into Europe. It was known in the Arab world, it was known elsewhere, but in Europe it came from there. Likewise, so this had the effect of solving the problem of loxodromes, a very important problem that European sailors were not able to navigate, because if they went along one course of the compass, on the curved earth, they didn't move in a straight line, they moved in a curve. That's the curved line. And therefore they needed a map which would show these curved lines as straight lines, and that's the Mercator chart. And similarly for latitude. So when they took this, the reason for the Gregorian calendar reform was an economic reason. See, the dreams of European wealth were all based on overseas trade or loot or whatever you call it. And so therefore they had to have a good technique of navigation. If a ship sinks, so much gold gone down into the sea. So they had to have a better technique of latitude determination, which they did from the calendar reform. And the calendar reform was done by these documents, because Gregorian reform was not accepted by Protestants. Because had they been an experimental method, it would have been accepted. It was accepted very late, 1752. So therefore it came from documents, and I could show you the documents. I didn't show that today. But if you see my video on Tale of Two Calendars, Matteo Ricci, who was a student of Clavius, his handwritten letter I have shown, where he says he's looking for those documents. So this improved the knowledge in Europe in a variety of ways. Okay, so
It changed perspective.
No. It solved very major practical problems.
Yeah.
It was responsible for the wealth accumulation in Europe. Solved very major problems. Right? So that is how it changed things.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you
Okay.
for having us, and thank you for coming. And
Okay,
sharing
thank you very much.
with us.
Okay.